agenda item to discuss, but it's your choice. First reading for knee or new business approval of knee. I think you can just make it a first reading.
Okay, we'll just put it in our first reading.
Ready?
All right. I'll call the meeting to order. Please join me for the pledge. Thank you. Apologize for being a couple of minutes tardy. We had another issue that we were meeting about prior. So. Going down, I am looking for the approval of the consent agenda, and when we get to item 4, we do have an item to add as well. So please read through the consent agenda. That is the minutes of the January 24th regular meeting. February bills totaling $1,962,031.99. The financial reports included. Technology program review, which was in our packet, as well as the final reading of the 2022B MSBA policies, final reading of summer school, first reading of the 2023A MSBA policies, the first reading on MSBA student drug testing, and the first reading on Network for Educator Effectiveness contract. And we will pause for any questions or clarifications.
I'll move to approve, but I had a question about whether we needed to have any further discussion about the second to last item on this list.
The knee.
No, second to last.
You're talking
Oh,
about
second
the MSBA student drug testing?
Right.
Right, this will be a first reading, so we can have
The
discussion on it
first.
because they'll be able to be back with us next month as well.
Okay.
I second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you. Underneath,
Yeah, sorry, so you're gonna strike it from here and add it to
Okay.
first reading again.
okay, so under adoption for the regular meeting, underneath 8J, agreement with Network for Educator Effectiveness, or the NE evaluation system, we're going to move that down to 9C as a first reading for tonight.
9C?
Yes, so it will just jump down to the next category underneath a first reading
There we
instead
go.
of an action item, and it will not be an action item underneath first reading.
Thank you, Ben.
Which one was that?
That is the only change I have.
Which one are we moving?
This one here, J will come down to here, come to C.
8J will move down to 9C and will not be an action item.
Then it's not an action.
So we
item, it's
want
just cross-action.
9A and 9C. Okay, yeah, no, never mind. I'm straight.
Okay. Need a motion to adopt the agenda?
Also move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? We do have a public comment tonight from Miss Michelle Pointer. I believe she has a video that she is going to play, or is queued up and was sent to the district earlier.
This is on. I probably don't need it.
It is on.
Well, the people at home will.
That's right. I wanted to bring this video as co-chair of the Vote Yes Committee. I wanted to bring this so that everybody that's live streaming or watching the school board meeting live stream, and for the school board members to kind of know what we have done and what we're doing. This is a video that we have on our webpage. It's a YouTube video we did. Also, just kind of wanted to touch really quick, the National Association of Realtors have put together some mailers that start March 2nd, and they're excellent, excellent mailers. And then the Missouri Association of Realtors, we wrote a grant and got a $10,000 grant from them. No strings attached. So That's paying for a lot of our advertising, and then Wick Jacoby's been beating the streets, getting donations from the banks and everything else. Starting March 7th, we have online ads running nonstop till April 4th. We have text messages that will start both through the National Association of Realtors and through KMMO. We have radio ads, 5 a day, that will start March 16th. So and then on top of the newspaper. So we're going to start hitting it hard and heavy. We'd love to have anybody that would like to come join us. Our next meeting is March 6th at 6 o'clock at the Missouri Valley College at the Malcolm Center. We need all the help we can get. We're going to be at the home show with the booth Friday the 3rd and 4th. So anybody that'd like to come out and help us, you're more than welcome. Thank you very much for letting me take up your time.
Thank you.
April 4th, 2023, you will have the opportunity to vote yes on the new school levy. Vote yes for safer students, stronger schools, and a better Marshall. What is a school levy? In Missouri, school districts can only raise local funds through property taxes. This is done through a tax levy. You will see this on the ballot in April 2023, and the levy has to pass with 50.1% of votes. What changes if the levy passes? The current levy in place amounts to $2.8353, and it sunsets, which basically means it expires, in 2025. Marshall Public School currently ranks 500 of 520 Missouri schools for levy cost. The new levy increase to $3.8253, which is a 99-cent increase. This is the minimum increase needed to better support our kids in the future of Marshall Public Schools. Even with the new levy, 64% of schools in Missouri will still have a higher tax levy than Marshall Public Schools. And if you look back at the previous tax levies, this new levy is only 27 cents higher than it was in 2002. Currently, Marshall Public Schools sit well below other comparable and smaller school districts. These are also school districts students and teachers have and may continue to choose over Marshall Public Schools. As we know, understanding the financial impact is incredibly important to all taxpayers. You can see here an example of the increase as it would impact your current personal property taxes. Whether you own a home or you pay personal property taxes on your vehicle, this tax is based on your assessed value. So if your market value on your home is $100,000, it is only a $15.68 increase a month. This applies to commercial and agricultural property as well. This is not a significant increase when you consider the long-term improvements for our schools, our students, and our community growth. Why is this levy needed? It is needed for operating costs, to improve safety and security across the district, create solutions for buildings that are in disrepair, acquire, construct, renovate, furnish, equip, and improve new and existing school facilities, consolidate grade levels across the town. The positive impact this levy will have on teaching and learning, it'll help with teacher retention, teacher recruitment, pride in our community, the future of our children and our community. This levy is impactful in so many ways, and each of these points could be elaborated on even further. An unfortunate reality is that there is an increased need for safety and security in our schools across the country and in the Marshall Public School District. We do not want to be in a place where we are trying to come up with solutions after the fact. Our students, teachers, and staff deserve to feel safe. Current safety and security issues and concerns. No or poorly secured entrances, no shatterproof glass, classrooms cannot be locked or secured, no master key system to aid first responders, playgrounds are not secure, mold and leaks in other buildings. Students are learning in temporary structures, such as trailers. There's poor lighting outside There are many goals behind this levy, in addition to improved safety and security. Two major goals for this levy includes a new building for grades 3 to 5 and to decommission Southeast, Eastwood, Benton, and the 5th grade trailers. For a new building for grades 3 through 5, the proposed location would be adjacent to Spainhauer. This would be consolidating campus for all the elementary students. This is a recommendation based on public and staff feedback when compared to the option of renovating existing elementary facilities. The estimated capital expenditure would be $28 to $30 million. The second goal would be to decommission Southeast, Eastwood, Benton, and the 5th grade trailers. This alleviates extensive maintenance that is necessary and has been deferred. These are all 100-year-old buildings and currently require high operating and repair costs, including mold mitigation requirements. If this levy doesn't pass, in 2025, our levy drops to $2.75, which creates a $3 million deficit. Cutting $3 million from the operating budget potentially impacts kids' safety not being addressed, healthy environment in the classroom, teacher budgets, salaries, retention and recruitment of teachers, health insurance, trailers not being used, extracurricular activities. This also creates difficulty and inability to maintain current building operations. It just continues to bleed operating cost. It takes a village. It's the sum of all our parts, the majority doing what is right, not what is right for themselves, but what is right for our students and our community. That is how we grow our pride and grow our future. On April 4th, please vote yes for safer schools, stronger schools, and better Marshall. For more information, to get involved, or to support, visit Yes for Marshall Schools website and Facebook page.
Thank you for your comment this evening. Are there any other public comments?
Mine's gonna be like 2 seconds. I'm gonna stay right here.
Hearing none, we will move on to the reports. First, we'll do the superintendent report.
So my report for this month is going to be a verbal report related to new business. If it's all right with you, Mr. President, I think we would be good to move on to our next report.
All right. Moving along, Discipline Committee. Ms. Coslett, please make your way up to the microphone.
Do you have a presentation? No, there's, should have been a presentation. Well, I might just be talking to you.
If you want, we can do the counselor one first, and I'll get yours ready. Mindy, how's that sound? No, that's all right. Let's do counselors first, and I'll get hers ready.
All right, then we will go back to Ms. Reith and Ms. Stark. And we will come back to you, Ms. Coslett, as we're having a little technical difficulty appears in our arrangements of reports for this evening, so.
Hello. Oh gosh, you guys off to a bad start.
Hello.
There you go.
Okay, my name is Jordan Reith. I am the 5th and 6th grade counselor.
It just went dead. Oh, it's still on. We can hear you. Try
Keep
it.
talking.
Okay,
Yeah, you're on.
let me try again. My name is Jordan Reith. I am the 5th and 6th grade counselor at Beaker Middle School. This is Mary Jo Stark. She is a counselor at Marshall High School, and we are here tonight to talk about an opportunity that our students at the middle school and high school level had from a speaker, as well as some of the survey results, and just some of the ways that we as counselors are handling the issues with bullying and cyberbullying. So before we get too far into it, we wanted to define what bullying is. So to the left, if you can read it, I know the script's pretty small, these are a lot of the different incidences that we see elementary through high school for sure. So conflict, students being rude, students being mean, and then bullying. So bullying is whenever it is a intentionally hurtful act or words, and it is repetitive, meaning it's happened more than once. It's something that's happened even if a student has been told to stop. So they're not, the issues usually aren't resolved with just mediation.
This is a national problem. If you look at these stats, it's 36% of people say that they have encountered. A lot of it at our level is cyberbullying. Down to the bottom, 95% of our kids are connected.
You might just have to take one of the table
You
mics.
guys want to take Harry's? Yeah. Grab Harry's mic, lean it towards you, and speak into it so the people at home can hear you.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. It might not go.
Okay, you'll probably,
Problem solved.
we got there.
Okay, that's better? All right. So this is a national phenomena. I think it goes to 95% of our kids are connected, and 85 of them are on social platforms. And so that leaves them open for a lot of unsupervised comments that are very impulsive. It says that 70% of teenagers have reported that somebody has actually spread rumors about them, that kind of stuff. So we address it as regular bullying, or, and then also our cyberbullying.
Move it for them.
The next slide right here, where we see a lot of the cyberbullying is on Instagram, and also Snap is where I think I see more of it. It has Facebook listed as the second used platform for cyberbullying, but I think Insta and Snap are the ones that are the worst, myself. Okay, so we have a mental health week, and a lot of things go on during that. Our opening speaker this year was Megan Meyer, or it was Tina Meyer from the Megan Meyer Foundation. And she is a mom who lost her daughter by suicide. And this happened a while back, and she has set up this wonderful foundation. And we really wanted her because she talks about recovery, which was our mental health theme this year, but she also goes into a lot of cyberbullying and bullying. In fact, when she opened up for us, she did a lot of education on those two topics, and then she talked about her personal journey as well. This happened at the high school on January 23rd, and at the middle school, January 24th.
We sought out the Megan Meyer Foundation to come speak to the middle school and the high school because we know that bullying is an issue. We know that from surveys, we know it from parent reports, we know it from student reports. So this was one of the ways that we thought we could impact a large number of students at once. So we were very, very fortunate to have Tina Meyer come in to the middle school and the high school. So with the Megan Meyer Foundation, before Tina came to speak, she had us survey our students. So Beaker had their own survey, the high school had their survey. So I'm not going to go through every single thing in detail, but there were a lot of very interesting things whenever I was looking back through the survey. So the very first one, this was the survey before Tina came to speak to our students, and it was, do you feel that traditional bullying is an issue in your school? And then it goes on to define bullying. 52% of Beaker students said that yes, bullying is an issue that they perceive at our school. 27 said no, and 21% were undecided. Whenever it got into more personal, this question asked, have you physically, verbally, or socially, relationally been bullied this school year? If so, did you tell anyone? 71% said that no, they had not had that happen to them. 17% said that yes, they did and they told someone, and 12% said yes, but they did not tell someone. In our eyes as counselors, anytime that number is above 0, that yes, that they have had bullying happen, it's too much. We would love to see that go down, but it was a little reassuring that the majority of our population hadn't had this happen to them this school year. The next question was, have you ever witnessed bullying in your school or on school grounds? And if so, did you intervene? 56% said that no, they had not witnessed bullying. 23% said yes, they did, and they intervened. And 21% said yes, and they did not intervene. Intervening could be as simple as telling somebody to stop, telling somebody that's not funny. That could also be reporting to a teacher, a counselor, an administrator. The next one was, do you feel that cyberbullying is an issue in your school? And then it goes on to define cyberbullying. 49% of Beaker students said that yes, cyberbullying is an issue. 25% said undecided, and 26% said no. When asked if they were cyberbullied this school year, and if they were, had they told anyone, 84% said that no, they had not been cyberbullied this school year. 7% yes, and they did tell someone. 9% yes, but they did not tell someone. Again, anytime that number of yes is above 0, it's too much, and we want that to be addressed. But it was, once again, reassuring that a vast number of our students have not been cyberbullied. Next one, very similar. Have you witnessed cyberbullying online, and did you intervene? 64% said no, they had not witnessed cyberbullying. 17% said yes, and they did intervene. 19% yes, and they did not intervene. Do you feel that your school takes bullying and cyberbullying seriously? 57% said yes, meaning our school does take bullying and cyberbullying seriously. 15% undecided, 28% said no. When asked if they believe that teachers and other school staff would be willing to help if they or another student were dealing with issues of bullying, 66% said yes, 15% said no, and 19% were undecided. And I'll pass it over to Mary Jo for their results.
Our whole purpose in having things like Tina Meyer come to speak is that, first of all, we want to support the student that has been bullied. We want to encourage bystanders to provide support and also to report. And we want to educate those students that are doing the bullying, and also the mean, the rude, building conflict in our school. We want to educate them and create empathy. And you only can do that if you have you blow up the topic and talk about it. And Tina Meyer, she gave us an opportunity to do that. A lot of the high school pre-survey was very, very similar, just, like the statistics are quite similar. Oh, wrong line. Got it. Thanks, Jordan. Okay. So right here, 79% say that, have you been bullied? They said no, but again, it's not okay for any kind of percent to be over there. And if they have been mistreated or bullied, we want them to report so that we can provide support for them. 57 say they have witnessed. Oh, have not witnessed, right. Do you feel that cyberbullying is an issue in our school? 33 said yes. 34 said no. 90% of our kids were not cyberbullied this year. I like seeing that, but again, having anything above 0 is not okay. And have they witnessed? 67 said no, but we would like to increase if they report it in interventions again. This one, I would like that our students think, that we do take it seriously. And I would like to think that everybody is supported. So this is a continuing thing that we're going to have to, that we want to bring awareness to and talk to our students about. I did not post survey, but Jordan did. You got it.
So after the presentation, within a week of hearing Tina Meyer speak, I sent the survey back out to Beaker Middle School students, and overall, 75% said that yes, they did find the presentation helpful. 13% were undecided, and 12% said no. After hearing Megan's story, do you feel as though you can better identify with other individuals impacted? So meaning, are you able to recognize the signs of bullying? Are you able to be a bystander, an upstanding bystander? 67% said yes, 27% said undecided, and 6% said no. So the overall results. At the middle school, I know for sure, we have seen a very noticeable increase in reports of bullying, self-harm, and suicidal ideation. I know that sounds like it would be negative, but it's actually, in the counseling world, a very good thing that we've seen an increase in reports. I want to be clear, there is not an increase in incidences of bullying, self-harm, or suicidal ideation, but we now have students who feel safe and feel comfortable with reporting those things. So we have students who are able to identify themselves and seek help, or we also have students who are able to recognize the signs and symptoms in their friends and get help for them as well. I've spoke to a lot of parents the past few weeks, so it's been great to be able to talk to them, give them resources within our school district, within our community, and even outside of our community if needed. So again, I know it sounds kind of opposite to say that we're glad that there's an increase, but again, it's not an increase of what's happening, it's an increase in the reports of students seeking help and us being able to reach them.
One message that we like to get out to our students is that we don't want them to shoulder the burden of something that is so heavy. We want them to reach out and to talk to us so that we can talk to parents. We can get professionals in to help the students if they need to. So we are very happy when students, sometimes it's their friends, sometimes it might be somebody who just hears something. We're so proud of our kids and our teachers when they tell us when something's going on.
And I just wanted to kind of quickly go over the process of what happens when we, either as counselors or administrators, receive a report. So we can kind of use the example of bullying. If a student has screenshots or witnesses or pictures or whatever it can be, for lack of a better term, evidence that they can show us and prove, usually we're able to go fairly quickly with the process of identifying the other student, disciplining if that is the case, but also offering that student support so that it isn't something that happens again. There are times that we get reports that take some investigating. We try to give every student due process. We can't work on hearsay alone. So a lot of times we have students who give us reports, and I know parents can be frustrated and students can be frustrated because they feel like nothing's being done. But at the same time, we want every student to have the opportunity to have their case. Sometimes I get reports that a student, just last week I had a student report that somebody said an inappropriate word. And so I did kind of a small investigation. Did they know who the student was? They didn't. Did they know what grade they were in? They did not. They could tell me it was a boy, so that narrows Beaker Middle School down from roughly 700 down to 350. They kind of gave me a description of the shirt. It was red. Well, I don't know if you know how many red shirts are worn at Beaker Middle School in a given day. So there are times that students are reporting, but just lack of time, lack of resources, we aren't able to track down every single incident. So I don't want parents to ever feel like we don't care, that we don't take it seriously. Trust me, I spent over an hour trying to find that one boy wearing a red shirt at Beaker Middle School. But unfortunately, sometimes there are times that there isn't a resolution. We don't want that to happen. We work as hard as we can so that it doesn't. But unfortunately, there are times that we just don't have enough information to go on to go further. So just wanted to put that out there.
I think the most important thing that we can do for our students and our school community is provide support to the student when they're right there. And then also that, and also respect them by having, people held accountable for things that are not okay. And so that's where we start. We start with listening. I always, one reason that I'm so proud of my job is that I see kids supporting kids every day. I see kids do not good things as well, but I also see heroes in our school every day too. So I wanted to make sure that you guys understand that too. We have a lot of kids that are heroes. One of the things so we have current and future plans. You always want to start off and be proactive. Mental Health Week, it started, I think this is our fifth or sixth year. And we cover a lot of stuff in Mental Health Week and, just treating, it's about being well. And a lot of that starts with how we treat each other. This year, we're doing our Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday. I send out an email. It's plastered all over social media by our student council who partner with us on this. And it is also read in the announcements. Tomorrow, my Wellness Wednesday is high school drama, and I'm looking forward to that one. So those are some prevention. Education, I'll let Jordan talk about.
K through 8, there are still classroom lessons given by us as counselors. We cover a lot of times coping strategies. We cover the definition of bullying, rude, conflict, things like that. So we try to empower students to know, one, to be able to identify their emotions, identify ways that they can get help, whether that's a trusted adult, things like that. We also do just broader education through assemblies like the Megan Meyer Foundation and things like that. We are incredibly lucky that we have services with Katy Trail and Burrell that come in for school-based therapy into our schools. There are districts out there that don't have this resource, and it just makes me super grateful for it, because there are students that, as much as I would love to spend a lot of time with, they just need a little more deeper support. And we also do individual counseling with that. But again, sometimes we have to refer out.
One thing I wanted to talk about is that we have talked to our student body about 988. It is the new suicide hotline, but it's really a warm line. So they have that information if they can't access us at school, but also on our webpage, and it's at several places, is the Courage to Report, and this is an anonymous thing, so if a kid doesn't feel good with telling somebody at school about something that has happened to them, they can go to Courage Report, they hit a button, they just type in what it is, it automatically gets forwarded to our school resource officers who send it to the different administration, and then they can follow up on that report as well. So even if there is this, and we have educated our students on that as well. All right, that is our last slide. Do you guys have any questions or comments, anything you guys, thoughts that you want to share with us?
I just want to thank you guys real quick for coming and presenting tonight. We had the climate and culture survey in the fall and got a lot of feedback from our community, our parents, our students, and knew that we had some concerns. Obviously, we still have some concerns, like you said, any number higher than 0, but I am encouraged to see that we're having the reporting go up, and I think the ones that concern me are the kiddos that aren't reporting. You know, that's the smallest number up there, but the most concerning one to me, because if they are dealing with it themselves or just not feeling confident enough to say something about it. Bullying exists still. I know, oftentimes I asked them to come speak tonight. I thought this deserved a special report. I've had good and caring parents call and ask questions. I know that they have as well. Our counseling group has met. We have a good counseling group, a great group of counselors. We're looking at our comprehensive counseling program, and we're looking at our evaluation of it all, but not one person that has anything in terms of heart that's lacking. They really care about kids. So I thought it was important tonight to ask you all to come present and talk to us about what we're doing, because a lot of times we might hear things out there that probably don't make us feel that great, like maybe the school's just not doing anything, or maybe they don't care. But they make a really valid point. Sometimes it's really hard to narrow it down, and we're never in a position to respond to things out there necessarily on social media, but we never neglect doing what's best for kids as best we're able. Not every camera is in every spot, but we also have to acknowledge that sometimes we do have bullies, and we get them dead to rights that they bullied. That doesn't necessarily mean in our modern society off with their head. You know, you still have to educate the bully too. And I know that's really hard as parents. We all love our babies. I'm a parent, I love mine too. And we don't want people to be mean or rude or to bully them, but I appreciate what our counselors are doing, and sometimes they don't get enough compliments. So thank you too for what you started this year, and it's just the beginning. I know I'm excited about where you take this. Thanks.
Should I leave the mic here?
We'll let
Well, they
Harry.
don't want me.
You might just leave it there.
You probably,
Leave it there.
I was gonna say, you probably do want to leave it there because we're gonna ask Mrs. Coslett to come back up, since she's queued up.
there.
Oh, boy. Hello, everybody. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for your report and your numbers. I won't go into such detail as Mr. Pettit, but he summed up quite a bit of it, so thank you.
It's a nice one. You might want to leave it behind.
Is this the discipline one?
This is the discipline committee, yes. So like you said, my name is Mindy Coslett, and I am up here tonight to kind of update you on the work that the discipline committee has done. And it is made up of a group of very dedicated educators, and I am very honored to be up here talking for them today to kind of give you an update. So what I want to start out with is going to look a little familiar. So we're going to review MTSS. I know that Ms. Jacoby was up here, I think last month or the month before, talking about MTSS as it relates to academics, but there's also a behavior component too. So as we worked in the discipline committee, we were made sure to align with the work that they were doing in the MTSS committee, along with how we're doing our discipline work. And so we have started and identified basically a tier 1 behavior support that will be offered to every student every day. And then as we move forward, you have those tiers for the kiddos that need that little extra support. The discipline committee, so everybody everywhere knows that discipline is a problem. It affects every district, every classroom, every school. Nobody's immune from it. So we looked at what would best address the situation going forward and create a positive learning environment as opposed to just dealing with consequences and punishments. Now, sometimes those things are necessary, but we needed to address the underlying missing skills. And so last spring and this fall, we continued. BIST is the program, the model that we've identified. It's Behavior Intervention Support Team. It is probably close to 30 years old, if not over 30 years old. There's lots of data behind it. It's been proven, lots of schools use it, and we picked it because it is focused on accountability and learning. And so BIST is the model that, I'm going to skip a slide. There are 3 essential skills that BIST seeks to identify, and this is what we'll be working with as a district. So basically, we want all of our students to be able to say, I can make good choices even if I'm mad. I can be okay even if others are not okay, and I can do something even if I don't want to, or even if it's hard. And if we stop and we think these are skills that pretty much every human on the planet probably needs to have to go forward and be successful. So it's built on this framework of accountability and teaching, where we identify the kiddos, which one of these 3 things are they lacking, which skill do they still need to learn. And so we do that through a system of moving them to maybe a safe seat, a buddy room. We have lots of data. We've brought on problem-solving teams, K-12, where we can get in early and teach those kids those skills that they're lacking. I have notes on my phone, and my phone keeps going to sleep, so apologize. And now it won't unlock. The second thing that we wanted to make sure we did as a discipline committee was that we had clear, consistent expectations, because it all starts with the expectations. If they don't know what it is that you want them to do, they will keep guessing until they figure it out, and most of those guesses are going to be incorrect. They're going to do the things we don't want them to do. So a team of teachers actually met today, K-12 teachers, and began work on a district-wide expectation matrix. So it will cover all the areas: hallways, bathrooms, classrooms, how do we enter, how do we leave, how do we ride on the bus. All those things will be a district-wide connected idea and model that are true K-12. And the team is also going to then, next time we meet, create lesson plans to be delivered the first few days of school. So as we're educating our kids, the kindergartners and the seniors are hearing the same age-appropriate message for what it is that we expect from them. And so it's consistency in expectations, it's consistency in practice, and it's consistency in our prevention, which is what we need for all of us going the same direction with the same ideas and expectations. This team of teachers is actually going to attend a week-long BIST training this summer. It's a 5-day intensive training, and when they come back, they will be here to serve as our experts as we roll it out for the rest of the teachers in the district. So we have a lot of work left to do, but I think this team has put together some great things in a really short time. I'm excited to see where we go, and I guess I'm here to ask you what questions you have.
So one of the things that pops in my head right away, and just, I heard you say it, but I'd like for you to reiterate it.
Okay.
So you have a model, you have a group of teachers that are putting together a model K through 12.
Yes.
And I know that message is sometimes concerning, because while we want the same message to go across, we don't understand that. So you're telling us that you're going to have a consistent message that is age appropriate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So, I mean, you can have a lesson that teaches kindergartners and seniors the expectations for being safe, respectful, and responsible, and you can put it at the level of a 5-year-old, and you can put it at the level of a 16-year-old and have the same message, but we're going to build on the foundation we lay when they're 5. When they're 16, just like we got cell phones and we got social media platforms and all kinds of other things that a 16-year-old needs to worry about. But the basic idea of how we treat each other and how we treat the school and the expectations of how you behave will be consistent from K-12.
How are you going to roll this out possibly in the high school? Just curious. I could see counselors possibly being able to do this in the lower levels, but has there been thought to that, or am I going a step farther maybe than we are at the time?
Can you repeat the first part? I apologize, my ears are not very...
So in 9 through 12, I know there's not that dedicated kind of counselor time or something, so how are we going to roll that message out to kids who are moving in so many different places, or am I ahead of where the planning and prep stages are?
Well, you're a little bit ahead of us, but I can tell you, thinking off my head, I mean, we have built-in time, we have advisory time, we have OWL time, we have things like that built into the high school schedule, and that time will most likely be where we'll utilize for those messages and those lessons. Yep.
So the 5 teachers, I'm assuming that they are spread across the grade levels.
Absolutely,
We haven't
yes.
clumped them up in.
Oh, no. And we even have we have a teacher representing everybody from K-12. We have a counselor, we have our autism specialist, we have our behavior interventionist. All of these people are part of this team. So we made sure to we have certified teachers, paraprofessionals, everybody from a cross-section of the district. We tried our best to make sure we had a voice on that committee.
Sure, but I'm talking about the ones who are going to be the experts in
Oh, yes,
this,
yes, sorry,
not just
misunderstood,
the
yeah.
committee,
So we have kind of our core committee that did the bulk of the work early on, and then we've expanded that team, and it was that expanded team that did the matrix, and they are K-12 representative. We had everybody around the table today.
Let me rephrase my question. So the people who are going to be you said there are 5 teachers who are going to go to this
No, they'll go to a
training.
5-day training,
5-day training.
but there'll be
Okay.
way more than 5 that go.
Okay, that's my,
Yeah.
I was like, how are we doing the spread?
Yeah.
And there's 5 people.
No, it's a
Okay.
5-day training, but around the table today, we had 10 people. The original committee had like 11, so it's a good contingent of people that will go.
So and
Yes.
that contingent is going forth.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I got
Okay.
myself straightened out. Thank you.
All right. Anybody else?
Are there any other questions? I just want to say that I sat in on this with you all last year, and I'm glad to see the progression and where you are with this. I know that handbook realignment and things are also in the works with that. So I'm glad to see all that come together to a total project for you next year. So can't wait to see how you roll it out.
Yeah, the progress is, it's exciting. We've done a lot of work, and I'm really excited to see where we go from here.
Mindy, last year you brought to us a budget that was needed in order to be able to meet the needs. How do you feel your budget is meeting your needs at this point?
Well, a lot of the training and things that are going forth, I believe, are going to be paid for out of the Professional Development Committee. And beyond that, there hasn't really been a lot of discussion about funding. I think the Professional Development Committee funds will take care of everything we need to into next school year.
Okay.
So, thank you for asking.
I just want to say thank you to Ms. Coslett and the entire committee, Ms. Jacoby, and all the staff that have given up a lot of their time working on that. And I know that several of you board members worked on that last spring. That brought BIST in directly with the teachers and hasn't been a talking point for several months, but as Mr. Jakes alluded to, the handbooks being reworked and this common language going in there, it's really pretty exciting. And I can tell you at a time when my wife was teaching kindergarten and I was teaching seniors, and I say this with all due respect as a parent, but we came home with very similar stories sometimes because it gets back to those three languages, those three things that we're going to focus on in terms of controlling yourself, controlling your anger. That's human. It doesn't matter if you're an adult, you struggle with those emotions.
Put
So
it back up there because it's
yeah,
really
we would
good.
come home and we'd talk about the conversations we had at a BIS school at that time and talk about how we had the same language. Here I was with seniors and she was with kindergartners. It wasn't the same district, but that vertical alignment, or in the elementary world, if we talk about voice levels and you see these cute little kids holding up numbers and fingers and hands and things like that, and that's consistent all the way through, and that every teacher is using that same language, it helps kiddos that might struggle with their emotions to at least know what every adult expects in our buildings. And it's a simple thing that makes all the difference. So I really appreciate all their work.
It's good work.
Thank you.
We will move on to the Assistant Superintendent report and Mr. Ranky.
You need my microphone too?
Yep.
He's gonna do it
Where
via
am I,
sign.
potted plant?
I don't know why you hear so much.
I'll give it back.
You can have mine.
Good evening, everyone. Is this working, Wesley? Perfect. All right. So tonight in my report, I have some things to go over. Some of the things will be action items later on in the agenda, but I'm going to cover them now. And then a couple other things that aren't action items, I'm just going to give you some information on. So some of the things we're going to go over tonight is the adoption of the school calendar for next year for the 2023-24 school year. Talk about the transportation stagger times and then let you guys approve those. Our sent out RFPs in our bidding process for the Great Circle, which is going to be the Butterfield Early Childhood Wing. And then I'm going to talk about a DNR grant and an RFQ I'm going to send out, and then our bus department's Fleet Excellence Award. So starting, number one, in your board packet, you guys should see the calendar that has been presented to you guys for approval tonight. The school calendar has 160 student days on it, 174 staff days. We are still doing actually 4 additional days for new staff that is in the beginning of the year. So any new staff will have 178 days. We added about 10 minutes per day to do that, to cut down on a few of the student days. We added a spring parent-teacher conferences that you will see. And then we also, in this version of the calendar, combined Easter and spring break to make a little longer break at the end of March. So how this calendar process was created, we started at the beginning of the month. We sent out 3 different options to all of our MPS employees. I put 3 options together, sent them out for feedback and to get everybody's vote on it. So I got a lot of feedback on it, which was great. So then I took the 2 most popular ones when they voted the original time, took the main themes of a lot of the feedback we got, changed some things, and then we sent developed 2 more, sent those back out for another vote. So the revision of draft 1, it was very close. It was actually 50-50 for a while. I didn't know what I was going to do. So, but it came back 50.8 in our draft 1, ended up winning. So that's the calendar I brought to the board tonight. So I believe we had a lot of employee feedback and the development of the process and I hope everybody felt like their voices were heard in the creation of this. So, if you have any questions, you can ask that now on the calendar, or we can, I got one more slide actually on the calendar. Graduation, so you will notice the graduation for next year's calendar is set to be on Sunday, May 12th. This year, I believe it's the correlation is the Sunday after. We did send out a survey to all the current junior students and parents. We got quite a few responses on that, but the two most ranked were Saturday. We gave them the options of Friday, I can't see the date right there, May 10th, Saturday, May 11th, Sunday, May 12th, and Sunday, May 19th. And then the two that came back with ranked the highest was Saturday, May 11th, and Sunday, May 12th. Our district track is on Saturday, May 11th, and talking to people, I just felt I don't ever want to make a student choose between district track or graduation. So we put it on Sunday, May 12th. So that's kind of the process on there, the information that came back. Does anybody have any questions on that and the calendar process and what's before you? Okay. Moving on, our bus stagger times. As you recall, last month I came with a proposal looking at the staggering tiered our bus times. And I told you then it was pretty far apart, and it really was. And so working on it and working with Craig, we kind of revamped everything, and we thought we probably should hold off on going to a true staggered start, tiered start times, just because the time frame was so spread out. We were almost 45 minutes in how we could get it down. So what we did is we decided not to do a true start, but we decided to stagger our times, and you'll see the start end times on the top box. That is straight off the calendar, and that is our starting end times for our buildings. Our elementary next year will be 7:40 to 3, BMS 7:45 to 3:05, and the high school will be 7:50 to 3:10. Now below, and it's really hard to see there, we would like to go back to the hub at the high school, and what that will help us do is not have students sit at other schools for half an hour, 45 minutes to get picked up. What it'll be like when school gets out, there will be 4 buses sitting there, 4 buses sitting in front of Spainhauer. Those students can walk out, the teachers can walk out, put them on the bus, then they'll go, all leave at the same time, meet at the high school, change buses, and then they'll be able to go on their end routes. So, also staggering the start times with the buses and the start times we thought would allow some parents, in our feedback we got, it was like, well, how do I get my kid from there to there when they all start at the same time? If I have a kid in Spainhauer and a kid at the high school, or whatever building. And then so I thought this would give a little bit more flexibility for parents if they're dropping their students off, not riding the bus. So that, just some points on the stagger time. It'll be a 10-minute difference. So in the buildings, and then how the buses will run. This will require bringing the hub back to the high school. I talked to Craig about that, and he says that's very doable. Like I said, allow parents that have to drop off in multiple buildings some flexibility in the drop-off. Improve efficiency with just how long kids are waiting to get picked up at the schools. And then we will also be able to shuttle our staff and students if need be for our staff. So that will come up later as a vote. I just want to give you some information on that. Does anybody have any questions on that right now?
No, sir. I know that our community was kind of concerned about what that was going to look like, and getting them back closer together hopefully will create a little bit more happiness on that. So.
Do we know why the hub went away?
COVID.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I wasn't like an incident particular, it was a, okay.
No, it was, I think with students, it was just so hard to track at
Okay.
that time.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Ranky, just to clarify though, this doesn't
Yeah, I get it now. I
reduce
hadn't thought about
our our number of drivers at this time.
no,
correct?
that is correct. We still will need the same amount of routes and the same amount of drivers. Okay. All right, so the next thing on our list, the Butterfields Early Childhood Center wing remodel. this is just for the classroom part that we're going to put our early childhood in. We issued RFPs, requests for proposals, on Monday, February 13th, and for 3 areas, wall demolition and construction, painting, and putting new flooring in. The bids were due on Wednesday, February 22nd. We received 1 bid for the demolition and construction of walls. We are taking out 6 walls and building 2 new walls to be able to make the classrooms, some of the classrooms bigger, and then cut off some of the classrooms. So 4 bids for painting, and then we had 2 bids for flooring. My recommendations, you'll see here in a little bit, is basically accept the lowest bid in each of these areas. And also in your board packet, and what you will approve when we get to that point, is the actual contracts for these. And there's 3 contracts in the board packets, and I also have put in deadlines and all those, they're performance contracts. Okay, so number 1, this one's pretty simple. This was for the construction of walls and demolition of walls, construction of walls. We received 1 bid from Poppy's Construction here in Marshall. It is a complete bid. It was the lowest bid, the one I'll recommend. It's pretty easy. And it's in the amount of $6,050 to perform that work. Number 2 will be the painting. We received 4 bids for the painting, and just to be clear, in the RFP, none of this, in the RFP, we did not want paint included. We are going to provide our own paint, and then this is just labor and some of their materials. So we had 4 bids on that. Let's work my way up. They were all complete bids. Stratford Painting of Warrensburg was $131,200. Lakeside Metalworks of Warsaw was $37,500. Midmo Painting of Marshall was $30,835. And Tolliver Painting of Marshall was $29,834.92. So that would be my recommendation, being the lowest bid.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where's $100,000 come from on that? That's huge.
I was told to include paint. In the RFP, it stated not to, we were providing the paint.
This is coming from Troy, the guy that contacted me a couple days before this was due. He said I can do it. So I can get the paint cheaper than you guys can.
Right.
So that's what I told him.
Okay. I apologize if there was miscommunication on there. So the next one,
No.
the flooring.
Time out.
Oh, sorry, Jack.
They bid it.
I have to be excused from anything
Oh.
to do with the flooring because in my other job, I have confidential information that I can't disclose or anything, so I can't be involved in anything to do with this, and I can't vote on it. So if you'll give me just a minute, I'll get my
You can just abstain.
full procedure.
Jack, you can abstain from voting when we get down to those.
But I can't be in any debate that they might have.
You can
or
sit
anything.
You
quietly.
can sit quiet. You don't
No
have to
big
leave.
deal.
I thought I was forced that I have to leave.
No,
No,
no.
Not open.
No, no,
Just
sir.
don't go anywhere.
No.
just don't say anything.
So I'll turn my chair around.
Just click in your pen and be quiet. Silently.
There's no sitting in the corner or anything else, so if you have a conflict or anything, then you just need to abstain from the voting at that time and not weigh in on any parts of that, so. But thank you for disclosing that.
Okay, so, Matt, did that answer your question? On the painting?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I'm a little concerned about that.
Me too.
If somebody's getting information that
Get out of here.
Well,
that sways the bid 100,000, that's
This might not be the time.
a lot. I'm just saying,
Yeah, to like,
it's the time, anytime.
I agree with that, but also the RFP's been posted and
Sure,
everybody had
sure.
the RFP, so
Yeah.
it made it pretty clear, I thought. Okay, so, where am I at? Flooring, all right. So we had 2 companies, both out of Marshall, that gave bids, and I also had alternative bids in here. We received the first bid from the Floor Guys of Marshall. There was 3 different materials they bid on. one was Tarkett VCT tile, one was Armstrong VCT tile, and then we also got a bid on the 28 milliliter indestructible commercial plank like they put in the high school this last summer. We also had the same 3 bids from JC Flooring of Marshall. You can see the numbers there. In the baseboard is included. It's actually removal and baseboard is included in all the prices. So I went with the Tarkett with the floor guys. They had a bid at $46,776.50. That was the lowest bid with that material. The next bid on the Tarkett was JC Flooring, which was $65,258.40. And these are the same warranty. These are across the board. So
What'd you say that price was, 46?
for the floor guys, $46,776.50.
Okay.
The floor guys Armstrong VCT tile was $50,372.98. JC Flooring, their Armstrong VCT tile was $68,749.40. Floor guys, the commercial plank was $63,935. And for JC Flooring, the commercial plank was $80,021.79. So my recommendation is the lowest bid with the Tarkett VCT tile for $46,706.50. Does anybody have any questions on that right now? And you can also ask questions when we come back to the agenda item. So, okay, moving on. So this is another thing. This is not an action item. Nothing. Just more informational for you as a board and our community. I'm looking into a Department of Natural Resources grant for the district. It's in the amount of around $20,000, and basically it's an energy efficiency grant. We have still several buildings, and I can say this one right now, that could benefit for, some makeover if we can do that. So this is through the state of Missouri, around $20,000, and what they will do is, and I'll get to the part here, they actually just give the grant money for it, and what we're having to do is go through what's called an ESCO company. It's an energy services company. And they will come in and they really get down into the weeds to figure out where your electricity, where you can save electricity, a lot of LED lights, things like that. And in the long run, they'll figure out how long it will take to pay for itself and some different things. This has nothing doing this process, starting this process with the grant. The district needs to have partnered with ESCO or Energy Service Company. So what my plan is to do is take an RFQ and send out, and we're going to start looking for an energy service company to partner with. Now, this does not cost anything to the district. This does not cost anything to the community. If we do not get the grant, we are not out anything, just a little bit of my time. But I think it's really is a great opportunity with this grant out there, and to find a good partner with an ESCO, and it's great with us doing the long-range facility plan because they're going to go hand in hand, and then start working together. Yeah, yep. So just for your information, I'll get the RFQ out, and then hopefully in the next month, possibly, I'll bring a recommendation on a company, and then we'll look at this natural resource grant. Does anybody have any questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay. And then my last thing, I want to congratulate our bus department, Craig, and our mechanics and our helpers and all of our bus drivers on February 21st. The district had its annual bus inspection by the Missouri State Highway Patrol. And there are different rates, but we only had one little thing that we got knocked on. So we were awarded, or Craig was awarded, and the Transportation Department was awarded the Fleet Excellence Award. So that is really good. It's tough to get. So they're doing a really good job with their buses and keeping them up. So just want to congratulate them. All right. Does anybody else have any questions on that? Or I'll sit down for a bit. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rinky. Next, going down to old business, we have listed underneath that the purchase of Great Circle. That is still kind of a work in progress. See a couple realtors in the front row. You guys know that is not a quick process at times, so we were waiting on finishing off that paperwork and such. And of course, we've already been going in and looking at things that we need to do to improve that. And they will be completed for the start of school next year, and also for us to be moving central office over that way here in the next couple of months, so.
And March 1st, we're scheduled to close.
And we're scheduled to close, I hear, March 1st. So that will be Wednesday. All right. Next, going down to new business, we have quite a bit of it. So we've already talked about some of it. The first thing being the calendar adoption. It seems that many of the staff, of course, have weighed in, and I know that there was also some thought of what our community needed as well as far as the start times, looking at the days and such as we were going forward. So are there any questions for that people didn't ask when Mr. Rinky was originally speaking? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the calendar adoption for 23-24 school year.
Yes, sir.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Next, we have a few requests for purchase. We're going to start out with the request for purchase. The low bid was from the flooring guys at $46,776.50. Do you all want to take these separately or all together?
I recommend, we can take all three at the same time if we're gonna go.
Oh, no, we can't do that.
Jack needs to abstain.
Can't do that for Jack to vote
Jack
on,
can
sorry.
abstain,
So,
You too.
so if there is a motion for that,
So moved.
Second.
is there any other discussion or questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining?
Abstain.
Thank you, sir. I also want to say, looking over some contract language, I appreciate the fact that Mr. Rinky has given us some time-driven and performance-driven contracts on this as well. That is a very needed change to some of our contracts and will help us make sure that we're meeting our timelines. So the next is the construction and demolition for Poppy's Remodeling Design for $6,050. And we can also take the paint by Tolliver Painting and Refurnishing at $29,834.92.
I'll move that we accept Poppy's.
Second.
And they were in tandem?
Oh, you're putting these together, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Oh, so what other one do I need to sit? And Tolliver?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, both.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any other questions?
Goodness.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Thank you. Next, going down to the approval of the staggered routes, or the staggered start times as well for the district, as were outlined in Mr. Rinky's proposal. I believe those are 10-minute differences, weren't they, between the schools, 7:40 to 7:50?
That is correct.
Okay. And the end times were the same as well, going 7:40, 7:45, and 7:50 for start, and they were 2:50, 2:55?
3:05.
3:05 and 3:10.
3:05 and 3:10.
As far as ending times.
So then we're approving staggered routes. The agenda says 15 minutes, but we could just say
that's
staggered
right.
routes.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I was wanting to clarify. It's also 10 minutes time versus 15 minutes time. So then we're looking at having staggered start times is what we're looking at.
I'll make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Next, there is approval needed for summer school. There is a lot of information to read through in that contract on summer school. I believe it's about a dozen pages long, and some of it a little bit very legalese. Anyone have any questions about that? I know Mr. Pettit spoke about summer school.
Last week.
Didn't
Last
generate any money for us last year. We're looking at having a $100,000 payment or revenue, I guess, of $100,000 this year. It also has a payment schedule which goes down into the next school year for us repaying after we're able to get funding back into the district on that, so.
And I think their written guarantee is 75,000 after bills and everything. But it projects at 100. I just want to be clear on that so it doesn't seem, I don't want it to seem as if I were deceptive. They guarantee 75, but projections are 120, no, they're 100 just even. But they'll guarantee 75,000 in profit for the district. And it'll also pay $100 for students who have good attendance, and it'll increase pay for summer school staff.
And decrease workload because it has built-in lessons with it.
Yeah, and that was sort of the nature of my concern, which I expressed to the superintendent already. Well, like, okay, so we've got this preset curriculum. Who's been looking at the curriculum itself? Have teachers been involved in this? Are we making sure that we're not just handing out a curriculum that teachers aren't okay with? And he says, yes, and Laura Jacoby's been involved in it, so I have asked my questions and satisfied my curiosities.
Yeah, it's STEM-based is the positive for the short term. Long term, I'll admit, those lessons will lose their rigor because all the kids will have been exposed to it after a couple of years, so it won't be as relevant. But it's been well received as I've had contact with this curriculum before, for most of it.
I move we accept.
Second.
Is there any more questions on that?
Yes, it
Go ahead.
appeared from the information in our packet, this is a 3-year contract we're doing?
So that'll be a 3-year, which after Christmas of the second year, you can probably, from how I interpreted the fine print, and I did verify this, although I've never done it, so you never know till you actually get there. But it looks like if we got to December of the second year before the third summer, and it just wasn't working out as anticipated, there's a clause to get out of it before the third summer. So it's committing to 2 summers for sure.
Okay.
Any more questions? That was a good clarification question, Jack. Thank you.
Call a question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Or abstaining? Next, we're looking at policy adoption. And I'll let Mr. Pettit highlight that just briefly.
So just briefly, there's a lot of policy adoption, and this is kind of phase 1 you've had for a couple of months on this, and there will be more. It does not include what I believe is probably the one that's going to be most valuable to discuss and open, which is the drug testing policy. We're not adopting that tonight. This is more standard updates to policy. There's nothing in particular I would note about them.
And most of these policies have been cleaned up from sunset and terminology for the most part, so.
I didn't see any contradictions yet this time.
Yeah, this one is very heavy with CSIP 6 updates.
Yeah, it's mainly to make sure we're adhering to governance more as a board. And the fact that their policies are now going to address that and speaking more to us as governance versus before, our old plans dealt a lot more with student achievement and other areas where this deals with direct board supervision of the district itself, so. All those in favor of the adopting the MSBA policies as given, please say aye.
Aye.
You don't have
I
a
have a
motion. I just-
I'll move. I'll move. I was like, who made the motion? I missed that.
I was moving quick.
All right, dictator.
It's been moved and seconded.
I know, I was like, I missed that, but okay.
I move it in second and we'll vote for it.
Are you ready for the question now, sir?
Call the question.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposing, abstaining? Thank you. Next, there was some information in about tuition reimbursement. This deals with our staff, and also kind of coincides with G as far as the MOUs with Columbia College and with Valley as well for vetting these programs as well for our staff.
I move that we accept.
All right. Thought you were going to have to talk about that one, didn't you?
Yeah, that's what I did.
These are for continuing education, as I said, for our staff. It does have a contract in it, and that will be available. So it has been properly moved and seconded. The board has reviewed this and talked about it for a while. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any? Yes, ma'am.
I'll vote aye. I sent you my notes on this one.
We do have a couple of minor changes to the
Syntax.
wording,
Yeah.
but it will not change the
all.
meaning of the scope of what we're doing. So it is a couple things within the contract that are just some wording things. So.
Yeah.
I have a question that maybe it kind of pertains to this and it kind of doesn't. Back when I did practice teaching, I was earning 60 cents an hour, so I lost that job while I was out practice teaching. Is there any way that we can say to these students that, you know, we'll give you $100 or $200 during your 16-week
There are ways.
practice teaching? Is there anything we can do to help those students?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah,
Oh,
there are various ways. It's sometimes tricky, but to speak to this right now, I would say that we're really trying to work on giving them some opportunities for tuition. Well, the next item on the agenda, where we'll have an MOU with some colleges where we can get them tuition breaks at the college, and then where we can honestly try to hire them in certain areas as a district is something we're moving towards if they go through. Say they go through colleges we have an MOU with, as well as perhaps student teach in our school. I think especially in short areas that are hard to fill, math, science, that we have an opportunity to start hiring student teachers for pay with good support, and that's something that we've been discussing that we would be willing to do, especially in the areas of science and math and high need areas. Pre-COVID, that was something I tried to avoid, but for math and science nationally, I think we've got to do something to get a leg up on our competition. So that's the number one, is we would actually be willing to hire student teachers if they had gone through some of these processes with us, and we're working on those processes to start with their high school students to help bring them in as teachers down the road. Kind of answers it. But some of the just $100 or whatever, there's a lot of rules against some of that at the same time.
It just would, to me, it would just give them a good feeling about the school, that we cared enough about these poor college students that don't have 10 cents to rub together, to give them a little something extra.
Yeah.
What are you laughing at, Brad?
I think he was probably still laughing at the 60 cents probably before. So there is a memorandum of understanding between Columbia College in the district and Missouri Valley in the district to help with some of these endeavors that we're talking about as far as students and returning students back to this district and recruiting students or students that would be teachers back to this district as well, so.
Yeah, it's basically an agreement that we would place their college students in our classrooms, and they would work with us to get our high school students into their college and exposed to their opportunities. I'm particularly excited about the opportunity with Missouri Valley right here in Marshall to start having a relationship, working together right here in our own city limits. I think it'll have advantages for students of Marshall Public Schools and students of Missouri Valley looking for jobs after their education. So I'm pretty excited about where this goes, but it's just getting started. I think it'll
Yeah.
get even better.
This MOU is a true sign of progress.
Yes.
And positive change.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't too many years ago, since I've been on the board, and we'll just put this out there, that Missouri Valley College would not put their kids in our district. They were not allowed to come and work and learn in our district. So this, for me as a board member, but more importantly a parent, this is spectacular work. And it is a great step in the right direction for both organizations, in my opinion. So this is great work.
We're excited about it. They've been great to work with since Dave and I have been here, and I think they're equally excited about the opportunities on their side. It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
Remember when we talked about this was a good time?
Yeah.
Back in June or July, whenever that was?
Yes,
Here, we're
absolutely.
seeing that melting pot beginning to bubble, and it's exciting. So I move that we accept this.
I'll second it.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstaining? Next, we have a few budget revisions.
They are many budget revisions by and large, and the overview is that this is all Fund 4 revisions. It's moving dollars around in Fund 4, which frees up some of our surplus dollars indirectly, not directly, but indirectly. That is ESSER dollars in Fund 4, which is the money that will buy Great Circle and pay for it in full.
And this is a result of the many months that Mr. Pettit and I'm sure Mr. Rinky have poured over the budget, looking at our ESSER dollars,
we also
working with
had
our
outside help,
consultant,
too, with
working with our consultant as well.
Our consultant's
Who looked
done
over
great.
this as well, to kind of move some money around to fund some projects within the capital money that we had, and then to make sure that everything we did was exactly legal and vettable as we were able to defend it going forward, so.
Really thankful to Carol Embry and our bookkeeping, who's surely wanted to pull their hair out through the process, but It's not easy, but it's a done deal, and we'll have a building paid for in full that'll save us what it costs annually, and it's a great opportunity.
And I'm sure Linda and some of the staff also at the central office who had together probably numbers for the last 2 or 3 years to have them pour over as well. So
Yeah.
thank you for our in-district staff as well as our outside help on this.
It was cool seeing the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet was really nice to read. It was very clear.
Yes.
I am waiting for a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution, I believe this is a resolution to empower Ms. Perkins to act as our agent from the board, which will save me time from being around for Ms. Perkins to actually sign for the purchase of Great Circle as the district representative, given her power by the board to make that real estate purchase.
That's correct.
I'll move.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 At what point do we call it Butterfield now?
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, we got to start changing it over from Great Circle, we got to call it the Butterfield campus.
That's right.
All right. So I will try to get Butterfield with
go.
no S, by the way. It's just one field.
That's right.
So, moving down to number 9, first readings. We talked about the policy adoption that we talked about earlier, the possible rent of the Hoot and Tudor House, and looking at that in line with our long-range planning, which Mr. Pettit has talked a little bit about with us to this point and given us some information. And then, of course, the knee evaluation network for educator effectiveness system that we will also be looking at a little bit more in the future as well.
So on all three, I think there's more policies to read for approval, separate from the ones you've approved tonight. The Hoot and Tudor House, I know we'll talk more about, and we'll probably be asking you all to consider an action on that by next month, and I know we'll talk more about that later. The knee evaluation tool, I did want to come to you and open tonight and share some numbers. So with our current evaluation system, we have utilized consultants and basically kind of built that in-house, you might say, with the use of consultants. Just one of those 2 consultants' knees costs will save about $12,000 compared to one of the 2 consultants annually. We didn't spend that money this year, and I will say that the data and the research behind knee is phenomenal. They actually came and spoke with staff today and introduced them to it. I feel like those went well. You never know until that settles in for a little while. So I had thought about this being an action item. I wanted to let it sit in with the staff and with you all seeing the actual contract and hearing a few of the numbers before we decide. But I think it's a win-win because I don't think we're getting what's just cheaper. I think we're getting something that's better. 2 quick statistics they shared today about knee. No district has gone to knee in its 12 years since its inception that didn't see their APR improve. And they are now drawing, after a decade of data, a correlation to teacher recruitment and retention, specifically retention for schools that are utilizing knee, because the feedback is clear. The way to do well or improve is also clear. And it's intense on training administrators and how to give that great feedback, which is what I think teachers find the greatest value in it, is the administrator training it gives. So that's my first reading items on it. If you have more questions between now and next month.
Last thing, I went to the Region 5 meeting last Thursday night for our executive committee, and I just want to remind everyone that we have the region retreat at 6 p.m. at central office on Wednesday for any of the board members that would like to come and listen to it there. We have a virtual link. It will be virtual at this point in time. It is not in person. So we will be at central office at 6 p.m. to listen to that meeting on the 1st for those that are choosing to come.
Mark, you buying dinner that night?
I will buy dinner that night. That does not include dessert for anybody that can't have it. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little dessert too. We'll put Harry in charge of desserts. Need to entertain a motion to close from regular to be going to, yes,
Can
sir.
I make a comment? I want to encourage everybody, we've got a play coming up this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, and those kids do a wonderful job. If you haven't been to any of their plays, please go. I'm going to go on Thursday night, so just put that plug out for those kids. They really do a nice job. Thank you.
So, with that, we will be talking about legal actions, causes of legal or litigation, lease, purchase, or sale of real estate, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting particular employees, scholastic probation, expulsion, or graduation of identifiable individuals, and individual identifiable personnel records in closed session. So I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then going to closed, Aaron?
Aye. Thank you. Good.
Brad?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.